What is your favorite era for Sonic the Hedgehog? A pretty simple question with a lot of different answers. Some older fans might pick the Genesis era or the Saturn. Some newer fans might choose the Sonic Boom era. Good pick, by the way. For me, it would either be the Dark Age, Sonic Boom, or the Dreamcast era. Being Sega's last console before becoming a third-party developer, the Dreamcast had a pretty short run looking at it. First being released in Japan in 1998, to being discontinued worldwide in 2001. Despite that 3-year run, however, Sonic has had a pretty awesome run on the console, despite there being 3 games on it, 2 of which being some of the best Sonic games Sega has to offer. And yes, we're all familiar with the adventure games. I really feel people should show more love towards Sonic Shuffle, even if it's a boring Mario Party ripoff. Anyway, Sonic Adventure is the main focus, or at least the key topic of this video. You see, to hype up and promote the release of Sonic Adventure, Sega decided to give the license to a little American toy company, otherwise known as ReSaurus. ReSaurus is an American toy company founded in 1993, and got the rights to make Sonic figures in 1999. Being known as Sonic's first master toy partner, even though that's not true, it's Tomy, do some research. Anyway, being known as quote-unquote Sonic's first master toy partner, they've been regarded for making some of the best Sonic figures, for their ability to imitate the adventure style on these figures. So with that being said, visit me while I look on all of what they made, grab some Snapple and a piece of pepperoni, and let's go. To start off with, let's look at Wave 1, consisting of 4-inch Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, along with an additional regular and talking variant of the 11-inch figure, giving us a total of 5 figures in Wave 1. Although before we look at them, as usual, let's look at the packaging these come in. Right smack on top, the Sonic Adventure logo is shown, with there being a layer of plastic covering it. On the top left is the ReSaurus and Sega logo, and then on the right side there being a piece of Sonic art. Speaking of Sonic art, when looking closely, you can see a big Sonic behind everything that's covering it in the front, with the box's color being themed around purple, or at least a dark blue. The most important part is the contents of the box. The figure is placed on the right side while the figure's stand is behind the figure, and then the sticker is placed above everything with the ring being below. On the bottom it shows the character's name, along to the right where it shows everything included. On the back we see the full set of 4-inch figures, along with the additional 11-inch deluxe Sonic figure on the top right, with there being some additional information like copyright info, and just letting you know yes, the sticker is included. With that done, let's take a quick glance at the packaging for the 11-inch figure. The figure is protected by a cardboard box with there being a clear piece of plastic in the front. The Sonic Adventure logo, a piece of Sonic art, and Sonic's name are on the front. On the side it's very similar, and then on the back it shows all the figures in Wave 1. With that said, let's finally get to these figures. Wave 1 consisted of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and when first looking at them, they look a bit different than what we're used to. Instead of being based off the game models, they seem to be based off the adventure artwork, which gives these a very unique and stylized look that honestly looks really good. Starting with Sonic, he's easily the coolest. The Sonic figure is very well sculpted, with all the necessary details being here. His facial expression is in the famous smirk he did in the adventure games. Being an imitation of the artwork, everything is curved, either be the arms, legs, ears, and eyes. That can't just be me, right? They're curved. Speaking of Sonic, he has 7 points of articulation, with him moving his head, arms, and legs. Very simple movement. Moving to Tails, he has a neck. It might look strange on other Tails things, but it honestly doesn't matter because this looks the most accurate to the artwork. Pretty much the whole figure is posed in one direction, thanks to his eyes being pointed to the side. Although that does bring up something interesting. There was a revision that fixed the eyes. Not really fixed, but just had them normal. The figure's articulation is very good, having 8 points of articulation thanks to the tails. Speaking of that, they look decent. They're not separate, they're molded together. Moving at Knuckles, he looks a bit strange. The head is actually very good looking. His facial expression is very serious but happy thanks to that smirk, and the dreads are sculpted well, but the body is a bean. A very bean-shaped bean. Anyway, the rest of the figure looks great. Everything is pretty well spaced out. Knuckles has 7 points of articulation. And I also get the accessories. All the figures come with the same things. A sticker, a ring, a pull to hold a ring, and then a character-based stand. The sticker design is pretty simple. Around is a black border, with the character's name on the sides, and then the character's art in the middle. The ring, although very simple, looks very good thanks to the metallic paint finish used on it. The pull goes in the ring, which also connects to the stand. Oh yeah, the stand. The stand is a character sculpted piece of plastic, with them being in different colors based off the character. Sonic has a gold stand, Tails has a copper-like stand, and then Knuckles has a nice sleek silver stand. Although they hold the ring, they don't really hold the figure. You see, for figures they usually have a hole in the bottom of the feet. I'll take Jax's 2.5-inch Sonic for example. You grab the standard playset, which has little plastic studs so you can put the figure on them. Well, I guess they forgot to add that when making these. It's really fine, but I guess it can be an inconvenience. Yeah, what I just said isn't true. I looked at some more pictures and saw that they do have a hole in the feet. The last thing we have for Wave 1 and for 1999 is the 12-inch Sonic Deluxe figure. There was two variants of these, the normal and the talking figure. I won't say a lot, so this is really just a big version of Sonic. The details on him have been increased, such as a more defined eyebrow sculpt, along with the figure being thicker, like in the arms and legs. This Sonic also came with a stand, but it lacks the accessories. Well, actually the talking Sonic was the only figure to get a stand. With the regular, you just got the figure, but with this you got Sonic and the stand that talks. Just the stand though. The figure doesn't talk. Here are the lines the stand would say.
Oh yeah! This is happening! Ready to roll, champ? Let's go!
Overall, Wave 1 is a pretty decent start to a toy line. There were some good and honestly great figures, and I'm honestly excited to see what they do for the next year. So let's get to it. In 2000 we got Wave 2, and it was a massive improvement than Wave 1. For 1 we got more characters. Instead of 3 we moved to 4. There's a Sonic variant with a skis, Amy Rose, Big the Cat, and freaking E102 Gamma. On top of more figures, the accessories also doubled. Each figure comes with a ring, along with a pull and the character stand. Pretty normal, but each figure has an accessory dedicated to their character. E102 Gamma has his jet booster, Big the Cat has his fishing pole, no Froggy sadly. Amy Rose has her legendary Pico Pico hammer, and then Skiing Sonic has his 2 skis and 2 poles. The packaging for the figures pretty much stay the same, just minus the color change, and there's a Series 2 text on top. On the back, however, there's the most change. Along with showing other toy lines they have with different companies, they gave us a pretty cool description of the Wave. Welcome to the lightning fast world of Sonic Adventure, the hit 3D thrill ride from Sega's Dreamcast. Join the super fast Sonic the Hedgehog and his friends Amy, the cheerful girl with a magic mallet, Big the fat cat with an appetite for fishing, and E102, the robot with a conscience, as they try to defeat the schemes of the mad scientist Dr. Robotnik. A pretty odd description. There's some odd choices of words. I don't think Amy's hammer is magical, nor is Big fat, he's just big boned. Anyway, gets the job done. Let's go ahead and look at the figures. Starting off with Skiing Sonic, he's the worst. Yeah, this is the worst figure in ReSaurus' whole lineup, in my opinion. Everything about the last Sonic figure was really cool. It was a solid figure with a few oddities that made it unique, but this is still unique, but worse. The head sculpt is pretty much the same for the most part. It's the eyes that kill it, however. Something you're going to see a lot in Wave 2 is circular eyes. Sonic characters don't really look good when they have circle eyes. That's why most characters have standard oval eyes. And I'm telling you, if this figure had it, it would be so much better. But it just looks bad. The body has seen a couple other changes. The body is much more circular, and the hands are now closed where they're bringing enough space to put the poles used for the skis. The poles are decent and are detailed enough and are fine. Moving to the shoes, the painting job on this is really sloppy. It really doesn't look good, and it kind of reminds me of the 90s Tomy Sonic figurines, but I do like they put the effort in making a different shoe, instead of just using the old sculpt. And the skis are painted well. This really isn't a bad figure, but when compared to the rest and the ones we're going to look at in a minute, it's not the best. Next we have Amy, and this flat out looks great. The sculpt on this figure looks good and captures Amy's adventure appearance greatly. Every detail is sculpted here, either it be the eyelashes, her tail, or the little creases in the shoes. The detail on her is done exceptionally well, although her eyes do have that circle problem. But it's less noticeable here since it looks a bit more oval-like when you look closely. This figure is just really good, and I actually think this is one of the first Amy figures, which is cool knowing. Her Pico Pico hammer also maintains a great sculpt and a great paint job. I like how it looks low poly and pulled straight out of the game, even if it looks like that on purpose. Before I move on, there's two things I want to point out. One, your articulation. Skiing Sonic has 7 points of articulation, and Amy has 8 points of articulation. Second, when you look on the back of the box, these are two different figures. Sonic and Amy look way better here, and that's because these are prototypes. There's a lot of pictures of these. So much, in fact, I think I should make a video on prototype Sonic merchandise. Anyway, let's look at Big the Fat Cat. You know, I find it funny that Big out of all the characters has the most articulation, with him having 9 points. Not surprisingly, this figure looks really good. I honestly have no complaints. Every little detail is sculpted onto the figure, instead of just being painted on overlays. His facial expression, although being very blank, does fit well with the art and especially the game model. I like how one ear is droopier than the other. Little details like this are really nice to see. The arms have some depth with the different parts of the fur being sculpted. One of the hands is fully open while the other is in a gripping hand, which is used for Big's accessory, his fishing pole. It looks good and is detailed really well, and is accurate. Overall, this Bring the Cat figure is made really well. Now it's time for the best figure, E102 Gamma. This robot flat out looks and is amazing. The sheer amount of detail on this is just beautiful. It's a shame this is the least articulated figure. If it had more points, this would honestly be a perfect figure. But for what we got, this guy looks incredible. I would love to own this guy, but no thanks. Each of the figures still come with their character stands. Sonic's is silver, Amy's is purple, Big's is green, and E102 Gamma's is black. Overall, this set is pretty awesome. This is definitely the best wave out of the two, and I'm excited to see what they make next. So let's go and see Yeah. Yeah, you see, ReSaurus went out of business shortly after making Wave 2. But there were some plans to make more waves, and luckily we still have an idea what they would have made. For Sonic Adventure 2, they're gonna make figures of Shadow, Rouge, Eggman, and Supersonic. And there was even gonna be a 10th anniversary wave, Tails and Knuckles re-releases, a Gold Sonic, and an E102 Alpha figure. It's really a shame ReSaurus went out of business. They had the potential to be great, but in the end, it was their time to go. If you enjoyed the video, then thank you so much. I always love looking at Sonic Adventure related anything, so researching ReSaurus was so fun to do. So yeah, if you liked the video, then consider subscribing. It's free and helps a lot. So with that being said, join the Discord, be safe and have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.